Okay, I think I'll get this started now. So, hi, welcome to today's webinar, Prepare for a Downturn. My name's Olivia and I'm going to be your host for this session. I'm really looking forward to going through this webinar with you guys. It's such a relevant topic, particularly with what we've just seen with the property market downturn in Australia. But before I start, I just want to let you guys know that we are recording this webinar. So don't worry if you miss anything in your note taking, the recording will be sent to your email afterwards. So if you are attending this webinar, you probably already know a little bit about Houzz. But for any newbies, here's just a little bit about our site. So Houzz is the leading platform for home renovation and design, providing people with everything they need to improve their homes from start to finish, online or from a mobile device. Houzz connects millions of homeowners, home design enthusiasts and home professionals across the country and around the world. So let's get started. So no matter how secure you feel about your business right now, it's always smart to prepare for the unexpected. Proactively preparing for down cycles can greatly increase your chances of making it through a dip in business. So what specific measures should you put in place? In this webinar, we've talked to pros on Houzz across a number of industry categories and experiences who shared their wisdom on how they run their businesses today in order to prepare for a potential downturn in the future. So this is our agenda for today. We're covering 3 major themes: how to reduce your risk, manage your expenses strategically, and keeping the pipeline full. We'll also have a short Q&A session towards the end, and I'll just conclude with a little bit of Pro Plus news. So reducing your risk. This is our first topic. So it's not always possible to avoid a slowdown, but with these tips, you may be less likely to face one. So the first step that you can take is screening customers. You can reduce your risk of a slowdown if you screen your leads, so you only take on the most qualified clients. These are some people who are ready to take on the project and are able to pay the bill. When clients call, you can ask them certain questions to find out whether or not they can take on a project. You could ask clients about what they want for their project, how much they've budgeted for, when they want to start the project, and how experienced they are with home renovation projects. So another step you can take is separating your finances. There's always a small risk that you could order materials for a client and then sort of never hear from them again. And that's a really rough spot to be in. But it can happen if you order for clients to get a trade discount or a charge markup. So one way to prevent this is to actually have your clients pay you before you place the order. Another option is to have clients buy the items directly from the source, so the transaction is between them. This just gives the ownership to the client, and it will decrease the risk factor in burdening your own finances. So Cindy Burns says that she has her clients pay for the pots, furnishings, and all plant materials prior to her ever purchasing them. That way she's not putting herself in a position where she's stuck with thousands of dollars worth of plants if the job falls through. So clients see her policy in writing, and she also says it verbally at the beginning of the project. So another measure is to have strong documentation. So giving a detailed estimate of what clients will receive from the project will help them to know what to expect. When clients are surprised or feel like they're being charged unfairly, that's when they withhold payment. So if you track hours, change orders, and any receipts that deviate from the estimates, clients won't have any reason to dispute the bill. So just make sure that you're always logging everything. So kitchen and bath renovator David Tyson says that since he's been in business since 1982, he's always operated with a fixed price contract. The contract ensures that clients know how much it's going to cost, what they're expected to pay, and when. He has all line items laid out in a bid. Some bids get up to 35 pages, and he'll note all the change orders. So when his clients are shocked at the end, he can go through each line item and change an hour of labor. Managing your time efficiently. So we'll start with logging your time. If you're wondering where the time goes, it's a good idea to make a diary of how you spend your day, logging all activities you do and detail how much time you spend doing each one. This will help you identify tasks you spend longer on than others. Look at those tasks and ask yourself how productive the time is actually spent on them. Are you spending too long on activities that don't produce effective results? And if so, you need to make changes. Secondly, do you ever delegate tasks? As a small business owner, you have to wear many hats, and you may think that you don't have the resources to get others to share the workload. But in fact, that could be false. Identify those jobs that you're not good at and see if there's a way to offload them to another professional. We actually wrote a story on this topic last year under our Tips for Pros section on Houzz. I'll try to put a link to that in the chat at the end, but you might find that that section of Houzz is quite useful. You just have to go to Houzz Stories, and on the bottom left section, you'll see Tips for Pros, and there's a variety of helpful tips there. So now to multitasking. We've all been there. We'll be in the middle of writing a presentation or a report when an email query comes in and we decide to deal with that right then and there. Or, perhaps we decide to spend some time during a webinar putting a spreadsheet together. So multitasking doesn't mean that you're a superhuman, but finishing your task for the day will just make sure that you feel like one. So the next one's really important. It's identifying your peak times. So when you do your best work, perhaps you have loads of energy to focus on tasks in the morning, or maybe you have a boost in the afternoon or the evening. Just where you can, schedule your most challenging or important tasks during your peak performance times and leave the ones further down on your to-do list for less productive hours of the day. As we all have them, no one can be 100% of the time, all the time. Another tip is just having an organized plan for your day. It's the best way to manage your time management, and just remember that you're allowing space for the unexpected as well. If you still struggle with time management and have considered all of these options, you can look into our Pro Plus program. In the program, you'll get your very own personal account manager who can help you build an effective and tailored program to suit you and your business needs. On a regular basis, you can evaluate your success from your analytics dashboard, and from there, you and your account manager can improve your program. So managing your expenses strategically. We all know that having money in the bank is important in during a slowdown. So next, we'll just share some financial tips. So hiring wisely. Hiring staff is exciting because it does mean that your business is growing. But instead of hiring an ongoing employee, consider hiring a consultant or a freelancer or a subcontractor. So you only have to pay them when you have incoming work and actually need their help. And that way you won't have to let go of anyone should you go some time without a project. So Stephanie Hatton says, using primary consultants is flexible, allowing for downswings and upswings in business without the added stress of full-time or part-time employees. Years ago, I had a junior designer, but I had to let her go due to the recession. In this business, we might be busy for 6 months, followed by a 1-month dip, which makes it stressful to maintain an employee. So I noticed how a lot of people were freelancing, and I started with a draftsman, and now I also have a freelance engineer, accountant, and director. Monitoring your expenses. So cutting back on spending will save you money now and reduce how much you have to pay if there's ever a shortage of cash flow. Look at your service providers for things like utilities and see if another company can offer a lower rate. Consider everything you spend money on, software, advertising tools, and if you can do without it, you can save that money. Make sure everything you're spending your money on has good return on investment, so you're not wasting your hard-earned dollars. So architect Darren Sanger-Smith said that after we started using Pro Plus, we've actually eliminated many other marketing tools that we used to use, primarily print ads and local community advertising. The cost was prohibitive and there was no real way to check the ROI from what we were getting. So keep your savings on hand. This might be tough, if you have money coming in and then you spend as you have it coming in, but if you can, you should try and think ahead and set aside some money from each job for savings, so that way you have an emergency fund and don't fall behind on payments. How much you should have in this fund is going to be different for every business. It just depends on your monthly operating costs, but a good baseline is to have a month of business expenses in your savings. So Jeff Russell says that cash is the key to making it through a slow period. Making sure you're watching your job profitably when times are good, and put some of that away so that you have cash when things slow down. So keeping the pipeline full. This is our last section, and we'll just give you a few ideas on how to keep work coming in consistently so you're not lacking a project in the future. This is another topic we've covered in our Tips for Pros section, so I definitely recommend giving that page a visit after this webinar. So expanding your market. In case you have a downturn that's focused on a specific location, like a natural disaster or a change in the real estate market, one way to make it through is to work in another area, particularly as the property market fluctuates. It's just a good idea to do some research on the areas that are less affected by these market crashes, like the one that we just saw in Australia. If you market your services to a wider area, you can get leads for work in one area while another is slower. And then when times are good, you can decline a project that's further away. At least you know, though, when times are slow, you'll be glad to have a project, even if you have to drive a little while to reach the job site. So another option is to diversify your offerings. If you offer more services or products, you can satisfy more client needs and have more work in the pipeline. To increase your offerings, you could learn a new skill, add a new subcontractor who can do something your company doesn't already offer, or sell new products. You can write out all of your offerings on your website and Houzz profiles so clients know you're capable and will reach out to you. So Sonny Fitch says that she was once told that if a business isn't expanding, it's decreasing. So in the last few years, they've focused on add-on products that increase sales, but don't necessarily require them to hire another person. So for instance, they added tiles to their showroom for splashbacks. They don't have to have every tile, just a modest selection, and then she uses several different contractors to install them. So have multiple lead streams. Referrals can be a valuable source of qualified leads, but it's always safer to have multiple lead sources. It's not a good idea to rely on another business to send clients your way, so promoting your business to new clients can help you avoid a downturn caused by a sudden lack of referrals. So Marilyn Hill says, at the start, referrals from a few builders were my entire book of business. One builder restructured and basically wiped the slate clean and started over. More than half of my income disappeared over a weekend. I decided I couldn't put so many eggs in one basket anymore. So advertising and getting my brand in front of homeowners year-round was a great opportunity for me to potentially have more individual clients, and it's paid off tremendously. My highest grossing projects to date have all been Houzz leads, and I've not had to worry about any one revenue stream disappearing again. So I'm just going to answer a couple of questions that have come through to me in the webinar chat. So bear with me. So are Houzz users being affected by market changes? So you might think that, but it's actually not what we've seen. You know, we're constantly growing in users in Australia, and we're witnessing an increase in demand in most areas. So renovation is continuing to boom, you know, despite the property market downturn that we just saw. So do businesses make cuts to budgets in preparation for uncertain events? Some businesses are for sure, but I think despite sometimes an uncertain market, there's always going to be homeowners and home renovation enthusiasts that need professionals during this time. So your immediate reaction shouldn't always be to pull back straight away. How am I able to find out what the client expects from the potential project before contacting them? So that's another good question. In some cases, it may be the first time your client is carrying out a project, so assisting them with expectations is crucial. At Houzz, we have introduced a tool to combat this. So this is Project Match, and homeowners can basically fill out an inquiry form based on the questions that we ask them, and then professionals are able to identify what the client expects prior to contacting them or entering that job. All right, so I'll just continue now. If it is of interest for anyone, we do have a marketing program called Pro Plus. You would have heard me mention it a couple of times. So Pro Plus, basically, a lot of our users spend hours in our photo stream with over 18 million images. And Pro Plus features your business to local homeowners in the photo stream to get your business in front of our highly engaged audience. So this is just a screenshot of how your business can be positioned within the photo stream. As you can see, it's quite native and it looks quite organic, but it's just making sure that your business is being seen. Pro Plus will also put your listing in our professional directory. And within the directory, we have the tool Project Match, which makes it easier for homeowners to be specific about their project needs by filling out a questionnaire. And then all of these features are there to drive more traffic to your profile, in turn getting more client leads and exposure. To help you easily track your results, Houzz offers a call tracking feature that's exclusive to Pro Plus customers and enables you to track calls that you've had with potential clients. Whenever someone calls by dialing your number from Houzz, we'll be able to track that in central messaging system. So if you miss the call, you'll immediately get an email letting you know that a prospect is trying to reach you. And then within your Pro dashboard, you can also see how your ads are performing and even more specifically, which photos are drawing in the most views. But lastly, and probably most importantly, is that you'll actually receive a dedicated client success account manager who'll be tracking the success of your business and your program and will schedule calls with you to review your analytics and help you build out your profile. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining us.